I'm here with Stew Etherington of Abilene, and we're going to talk a little bit about our longtime relationship with Stew and Stew's relationship with us. So, Stew, I appreciate you joining us.
Not a problem. Happy to do it.
Thanks. Stew, I think I've known you for the whole time I've been here practically.
Yep. Since day one, when you came to town.
Yeah, I remember you coming introducing yourself.
Of course, I knew your dad first. So.
Yeah, that's right. He came here. He was here, and he actually took possession of the dealership. It's either the January the 2nd or January the 3rd of '83, and then I came over and started coming over a little bit in maybe the end of February and March, and then was pretty much full time in April. So that old dealership was a little different than what we've got here today.
Very much so, but it'd been there a long time, and everybody made it work, but new and better, and you needed the space and exposure, so
Yeah.
It was a good move for you.
Yeah, it was. I think about most of the staff that we have here, they've never been down there, but the used car lot, remember, it was across the alley in the back, and the new car lot was down. Couldn't see it. It was down where the apartments are across from the lumber yard.
The body shop was the sweet thing.
They had an office about this big, square.
But, but it'd been there a long time, and time changes, and so you're here now, and a beautiful facility, and still great people. That's the main thing.
Well, thank you. So, what do you think, Stu, about all these years that you've been doing business with us? Why do you do business? Is it just because it's local, or?
Well, local's part of it, but I think more than that, it's the people, and the people that preceded you in the dealership down there were also good people. And so once we got to know the Holm family, we knew some of the salespeople from years back too. And why change when they treat you right, when you know them, you see them on the street. That's what I like about it. And that's, most of that is local, but still, business is business. So
when
you had to make it work.
Yeah. When you do business, when you buy your vehicles, who do you buy them from?
Been using Chris Eckert lately, but went through Mike Crow, went through Mel Racy, went through Ronald Rice.
Wayne Byer was
Wayne
Byer. Wayne,
Byer
or
was
Orville Emick, did you do business?
Not so much with Orville, but with Wayne, and of course we were family friends with Ronald, and so Ronald and Wayne and Wink Elliott.
Yeah.
Wink Elliott was a goer.
Yeah.
He was a goer.
Yeah. Well, Wink is we have his granddaughter works here, Jamie. So Jamie Hodges. When you just to go back in history a little bit, when did Racy, or not Racy? I know Racy came here, I think, in '78 or '8, I believe it was. When did Ronald Rice come to town?
I think Ronald Rice has been here since the beginning of Abilene, almost.
Well, it was the '40s for sure. Was it the '30s or the '20s? I don't know if it was the '20s.
I wasn't around then.
Yeah, I know that.
But when I started paying attention to things, when I was in junior high, he was here, and that would have been in the '50s. So
yeah, I think he may have came in the '40s or something.
But it was a long-time relationship in Abilene.
So anyhow, back to your business here at the dealership. What do you look for in a business? I mean, whether it's a car, any business, and particularly as it relates to a car dealership, what kinds of things are important to you that make you want to continue doing business?
Well, I think they've got to be open and friendly, but they also have to know the product. And when we come in to look at cars and whatever, I want I like to know the people. As I mentioned earlier, I like to see them around town, but I like it when they have the knowledge of the product, and they're going to follow up after the sale, and that too is important. They don't sell you the car and you never see them again. So now with the internet and email, it's easy for them to follow up, but we get phone calls, we get personal visits. They want to make sure that from day one, that's a vehicle you're happy with, and everything's taken care of. And that's the experience I've had, and that's why we keep coming back.
Do you use our service department, I believe? Body shop?
Fortunately and unfortunately, I've used every part of this building.
And you're even driving now for us in your retirement, right?
Service and body shop both. So,
Yeah.
and I've found that to be the same way. Good people. You've got mechanics and you've got workers here that have been here for a long time. They know the product. They get it done. They get it out. And that's important. And now, like you said, I do see the other side of it, where I'm part of when I deliver cars or deliver somebody who's getting a car serviced, to be part of that service after the sale. And that's kind of fun. And get to know people a little bit. And maybe they know I'm a longtime Abilene person since 72, but grandparents and parents were from here, so we go back a long time in the community also.
Got deep roots.
Got deep roots.
Yeah, yeah.
And not going anywhere either.
That's good. We don't want you to. When you think about your interactions at the dealership or your trips in and out of the service department, our advertising, the way we represent ourselves, is there anything that you can think of, Stu, that you'd like to suggest to us to consider doing differently or doing better? Any way we can reach out and be more for you and Linda?
Well, I know that our experience has been in all those different departments that they try hard to meet the need. And offhand, I'd say I can't think of an issue that's come up with me or with our family that needed correction. But I think the continued process of knowing the product and knowing what the customer needs and meeting that need as quickly as you can, I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's a fast business.
Well, and you have competition, so if they're not on the ball, especially with the internet, it's pretty easy to search, as you know.
Yeah.
So they're on the ball, and that's what keeps us coming back.
You got to be on your game all the time.
All the time.
To be good. You know that as a former business owner yourself. So.
Right.
When you think about your kind of relationship now with the dealership, is there anything that has surprised you that maybe you've seen in a different light or a little different perspective has been surprising to you?
Well, since I started being a driver as such for the dealership, I've been amazed at how far the dealership goes for that service. To pick people up when they're getting oil changed, I knew that went on, but delivering cars and dealer trades and all those things that go on behind the scenes that I wasn't aware of, but that makes the dealership different from other dealerships. We take great pride in doing those things, in delivering cars or picking up individuals that are getting service or delivering a car that's been repaired. I think that's the next step after you buy a car, is knowing somebody's going to take care of you. Mm-hmm. We enjoy it.
Yeah, good. We were talking today in our meeting, of course, the driver meeting today, about how many trips we're making and how far that we drive. Does that surprise you that we might put on 250, 300,000, 350,000 miles in the course of a year to pick up and deliver vehicles?
Oh yeah, it amazed me that, especially even with the dealer trades, that seems to be where you go the furthest.
Uh-huh.
And I've been to Nebraska many times and doing those dealer trades, but yeah, it's a lot of effort that goes in to make sure the customer is satisfied with whatever that situation is.
Stu, I know as a business person here for a long time, and if you think about us as a business person, what do you think a business needs to try to do for the community? Is that important to be involved in the community, or what kinds of things? We know how difficult it is to maintain business. Many of them fail. So can you speak a little bit, about your experience of being a business person here in town, and why you feel it's important to be involved in the community and have your employees be involved possibly in the efforts that are taking place?
Well, I think they need to buy into the community, and I see them coaching baseball games and giving time at the fair, and a community the size of Abilene, if the people of Abilene don't give back, it's not going to go anywhere. And as employees of Holm Automotive, I see them around town. I see them involved, and part of that's just the good nature of the people. They're family people. Most of them live here that I'm aware of, and I see them in the community, and that's part of that community support, community spirit, making sure that the community survives.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here. You got any favorite stories? Anything fun or interesting or humorous that you can think of? I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
Probably the funniest thing, well, and this is off, we bought the old sheriff's car where Milt Davis was killed in. 1947 Chevy business coupe that came from Ronald Rice Motors.
So we know he's in the 40s.
So we know he's in the 40s. And Milt Davis, sheriff and undersheriff, his brother, were killed in a tragic accident south of town. And brother Arch Davis, who was a local artist, ended up with the car. So we bought it from Arch, and it still had the original booklets in it. They bought the car, then they took it back and had the heater put in it. And it had 7 bullet holes in it when we took it into Bill Rector to the body shop, and he'd never seen anything like that. And so they got it fixed up to alleviate any continued rust problems, and we drove it. Linda drove it back and forth to Salina when she was taking some continuing education, and that had vacuum windshield wipers, which these young kids never heard of that. So you step on the gas and the wipers stop, and you let up on the gas and the wipers go quickly. And but Rector reworked that car for us, and we drove it for many years. And several of your customers will remember me driving it around town, but it's now down to Historical Society.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's great. It's a really, and that's a
We wanted them to have it rather than go in private hands, and so we donated it to the Historical Society, and they're continuing to preserve it and tell that story. So
yeah, that's a neat story.
Bill Rector couldn't believe I brought a car in that had bullet holes in it.
Yeah, you know, you talk about they bought it and they had to take it back and get a heater put in. Can you imagine? You know, they came out without things like that, and those are add-ons that you do at the dealership. And I think about, you think about your first car. I don't know what it was, but I think about when I started washing cars. You know, it was a big deal if it had tilt wheel, and then they got cruise control, and then they got power locks, and even side window defrosters was a big deal. Now they have so many things on them, we just take it for granted.
Right. Yeah.
The cars.
Yeah, I drove a new Cadillac yesterday, and there were things that I was afraid to touch because I didn't know what it was going to do, and I was driving down the road, so I didn't want to be distracted.
Yeah, yeah.
Or blow it up.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, Stu, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to visit with us about your experience here at Holm Automotive Center. We appreciate all that you and Linda do for the community. Linda's an educator for probably, I guess, maybe all her career. I know she retired from the school district.
Yep,
and
right.
you have continued to stay involved. We appreciate that. So thank you,
No
Stu.
problem. No problem. Good to see you.
You bet. We'll see
Thank
you.
you.